that's what I end up doing a lot of the time when I'm collaborating or making art or anything sort of creative. I'm always helping people. And I think that, again, I'm a technician. That is my job to help, the performers. And that's why I don't mind being a technician at a place like Wilton's, because I feel like I'm helping people and I'm helping sort of, helping people do what they want to do in this space, helping people see their visions and stuff like that.
Hello, my name is Eline Perez and you're listening to Are You an Artist? Today's artist is Shane Stewart. He speaks about music, Indonesian shadow puppets, but also helping people. And indeed, Shane helped me creating this podcast by explaining to me how to plug microphones, for example. So thank you again, Shane, for your kindness, generosity, and patience. And to the listeners, enjoy Shane's beautiful voice and stories. Ready to go?
Yeah, sure, let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm going to start by reading out a letter I've written to you, actually.
Okay.
It's like a love letter declaration that I do to all my guests.
Okay, fun.
So, dear Shane, as many of my guests, I met you working at Wilton's, but you are very special, as I probably would not be recording this if you didn't take the time to explain to me all the technical stuff with a lot of patience and generosity. So a big thank you.
That's so sweet.
I'm so happy to do an episode with you. First of all, because you have such a beautiful voice, and I'm really going to enjoy listening to this again. But also because I believe that you are very creative and have a lot to share. So this is going to be interesting. When I see you working behind the scenes at the theater, I'm wondering, when will I finally see Shane on stage?
That's so sweet. That's so sweet. Oh, well, I'm always happy to help out. Of course.
But now I just have to ask you the very first question of the podcast. Mm-hmm. Are you an artist?
A lot of people would say I am. But I feel like it's a very common experience for a lot of artists to not feel like they are. So sometimes most of the time I don't feel like I am, but other people would tell me that, no, you're an artist. And then I'll be like, okay, maybe I am an artist. And then I go through moments where I don't feel like that. And it's like a cycle over and over and over again.
And why did you start working at Wilton's?
I started working at Wilton's because I was offered this job through one of my classmates that I met during my master's at Queen Mary in London. We were in class once. We were in a performance class, actually. And he was just sort of like, does anybody want a job? And so me and another girl, we were like, yeah, let's do it. We'll work with you. And then, yeah, now we both work at Wilton's.
Wow. And like, if you go back to the beginning of your childhood, mm-hmm. What's your very first creative memory? The first thing you created and you were like, oh.
So growing up, I was very much raised a girl. So I did beauty pageants.
Ooh.
So there are pictures and videos of me sort of doing like beauty pageants. There's specifically one that they were holding at my school, a Catholic school in the Philippines. And it's one that they do every year around Valentine's Day. And it's called the King and Queen of Hearts, where they nominate like a boy and a girl student to pair up and then prepare some sort of like performance, a dance. They interview you. It's really, really weird.
We were wow. Like, how old are you?
Like 5 or 6, like very, very like young. But that's the culture over there in the Philippines. They have very much performative, like kids, like every Filipino I know can either sing, dance, or act. Like they are all just very creative people. And so they foster that kind of environment from a young age. And so because I was in a Filipino school, I was paired up with one of my best friends at the time. He was a boy named Joseph, and we were a pair. But you don't win as a pair. You can win as a pair, but they choose you individually when you win. So I won that year with another boy from a different like pair. Yeah. We live by an airport, so you might hear the planes coming and going, which is nice sometimes.
Yeah.
It has not made any noise all day today, and now as soon as we start recording, we can hear the planes.
Do you know why they really put forward this creative side there? Like,
It's very cultural. I think because it's... Oh, a lot of people like to pass their time by doing karaoke or singing and that sort of thing, and just bringing a lot of joy into their lives. And I think that's the thing about, I think, Asian cultures really accept the arts and entertainment as being useful in their lives, which is interesting as well when you have Asian parents who don't necessarily like their children going into the arts, but they still accept the arts as something that, you know,
it's more something on the side, or
yeah,
like...
more on the side, but still very more on the side to do, but very important for your life. So yeah, that's why I was doing beauty pageants. I did a fashion show. Yeah, it was very, very interesting. And I think
It looks like it was connected to a bit of competition as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I was always put in competitions and stuff like that.
So young.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why I'm very like competitive by nature as well, because I was always told to be competing against other people.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I hate it. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No, not really. It's fun sometimes, but sometimes it's just annoying because it's like I don't want to keep competing with other people.
That's true, yeah.
It's very tiring.
Yeah.
Very tiring.
And do you feel like your family like helped you to explore your own creativity, or?
Yeah, I was very lucky that, I mean, my mom is a beauty person. She does makeup, hair, she owns a salon, she loves fashion. So her thing is very much doing those things for artists. So like when I was doing my fashion shows or my beauty pageants and stuff like that, my mom would do my makeup and like put me in the dresses and stuff. I've always had very long hair when I was a kid.
When did you cut them?
My hair?
Yeah.
The first time I cut it was so my hair was down past my butt, and the first time I cut it was about to my chest. That was a big one. That was when I was 13, and then when I was 14, I then cut it short. I was finally allowed to. I wasn't allowed to for a lot of years. But other than that, my parents, yeah, I've been very, very lucky. Because my mom also is a singer and had a band growing up. So sometimes she would meet up with her old bandmates and they would like sing in the house, and my dad really loves music. So it's always been like, because I loved doing music growing up and doing performances and stuff like that, they were just like, yeah, that's normal for you to do.
Oh, wow.
So I was very lucky. I was never like pressured into not doing it.
And do you remember what you wanted to do when you were a child, as a job later or as a career?
Yeah, I was in very two minds about this because I'm trans. So I had part of me that was like, oh, when I grow up, I want to do a man job. Like I want to do something like men would do, you know? So it's stupid, but like...
Did you have examples?
Yeah, so at the same Catholic school in the Philippines, they made us go up on stage and say to the whole school, when you grow up, what do you want to be? And I said I wanted to be a computer engineer.
Oh.
Yeah, don't know where that came from. But I wanted to be a computer engineer because just some men working on computers, like, oh, I like that, I'll do that. But then on the other side of me also always wanted to be a performer. I wanted to be in acting for a while, but when I grew up, I sort of then realized not so much acting, but more so music, performance, that kind of thing.
But what did you study? I can't remember.
When?
Which course did you do?
Well, at uni?
Yeah.
So for my undergrad, I did theater production.
Okay.
So that was all like technical stuff. So that's where I trained to be a theater technician, and I specialized in sound and video.
All right. But then you did a
master's in creative arts and mental health. So going back to the psychology and creative arts thing, because I've always had an interest in psychology, or at least I focused more on that in high school.
And what interests you in psychology?
I really, really like the intersectionality between creative arts and mental health, and like how art can be used to help people's mental health, but also how people have used art to explore or show what their mental health is, and how mental health, that relationship between those two things has always interested me, because I realized I liked performing on stage because it meant that I wasn't really performing as myself. I was someone else, and I could be someone else on stage. And I really enjoyed that. And I think, again, growing up, I then realized, oh, that's more so because I'm very anxious. And then I realized, like, oh, I actually have anxiety, I have depression. That's the reason I was masking. I liked being in front of people, but it gave me too much stress. So if I did it as someone else, that would be more acceptable.
Wow, like you're always escaping your own anxiety
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you're someone else. So okay.
Yeah, but it still meant that I could be out there with people, even though it just wasn't as me. And I think that as well reflects on the fact that I'm trans. And in my family growing up, I could never really show that I was trans because it's not really a thing where I'm from. Like, female to male, not really heard of. We have a lot of trans women, so men who become women, or men who then transition into women. Loads of those. We had one live in my house. My mom took her in because she got kicked out from her home.
Oh.
And so, like, that's absolutely fine for my, like, family. Everyone's okay with that. But me going the other way, not so much. They just think I'm a lesbian. Which, again, is a whole other, like, whole other thing. But,
Eline from the montage, there was another plane that you cannot hear, hopefully, thanks to a tool called voice isolation. But that's why we are a little bit distracted here.
What was I talking about? Yeah, being trans and masking. I think because I couldn't be myself fully, so it was just easier for me to be other people.
And you create songs, right? And he's looking away.
I think it's hard for me to feel like I write songs, but I do have like little music projects that I work on, mainly because, again, I've never had the chance really to explore music much here when I've moved to the UK. Everywhere else I've lived, I've been in a band.
Do you know why it's not been the case here?
I went to drama school. So the people that I ended up hanging out with at drama school, none of them were really musicians. They were all more so theater kids. Some of them could play instruments and, but they wouldn't identify as musicians, except for, the actor musicians at uni, but I wasn't really close to any of them. My university was not really good at getting the performance students to be friends that well with the technician students.
That is really interesting, because also where I trained, we had like a dance department and music department, and they were really not good as well at mixing us.
Yeah. Like, I understand they're sort of like, you do it, mingle, but like most of the time I found when I was working at my university at GSA, it was that a lot of the performance students didn't really want to talk to us technician students, and kind of just, treated us just as if we were nothing.
That is horrible.
But then I became friends with one of the acting students, and then now she's like my best friend, and that's how I became close with the rest of the acting students. But so yeah, I've never had the opportunity really to explore that, except for the video that you saw on my Instagram. There was an open mic night, and then I performed there just to be like, you know what, whatever, I'm just gonna do it.
Oh wow.
And then that was in my second year, and then a lot of people came up to me and was like, oh, are you new here? And it's like, no, I've been here for a year. Like,
yes, it's,
you know what I mean?
But I feel like it's funny the way we look at technicians, because they are behind the scenes, they are hidden, and yes, they're not valued as much as the performers and it's a bit of a shame, because honestly nothing could happen if people were not
like, I don't think people understand the amount of like power that we have. Like, we could just turn off the lights and then no one would see you. Like, treat us with respect, which is why, like, as soon as any cast members that come into Wilton's are very, very nice to the people who work on the bar or the ushers or even like us technicians, it makes us feel so much more comfortable working with them.
Yeah, it
And makes
creates
me want to come into work and want to like interact with these people. The other day I got a shout out on stage from the girl who does the lady who does Lucky Dog. And she was like, "Oh yeah, and the technician up there, Shane." And I was like, "See, that's really nice." She didn't have to say my name, you know, like, but just having the acknowledgement that we like exist and the shows
Yes.
couldn't be done without us. That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I think it's important also.
for sure, working at Wilton's has definitely increased my love, or I guess my passion for wanting to stay working in theater, because COVID happened during my second year. And during that, I lost my motivation. I was like, I don't really want to be a technician anymore. And also the environment that I was in, I was just like not really fostered well. I was not given as many opportunities as everybody else was. I was marked down a lot because of a race issue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
In London?
this was in Guildford.
Oh, okay.
On my undergrad. A lot of the teachers didn't really like me, didn't really want to give me opportunities as they did for everybody else. So I didn't really feel confident in my abilities to be a technician, you know. That's why when I'm working at Wilton, so slowly building my way up there, I was like, oh, you know, I am actually like
Yeah.
good at my job.
Yes, I think you are.
So, and people here acknowledge that I work hard, whereas at university they really didn't. So I, fell out of love for it, and I didn't really want to continue doing it because doing tech was an accident. It wasn't really what I wanted to do
Oh.
in ever.
What?
When I was applying for university, I applied for double degrees in acting and psychology.
Okay.
And then I added just theater production as just a last minute thing. And then psychology at St. Andrews. That was the one I was going to go to. But as an international student, it was so expensive. So my dad was like, you know, like, I love you. You can still go, but it will just be quite difficult. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll try this theater production thing instead.
Ah,
And then,
interesting.
yeah,
Wow.
I just figured because it would be useful to know, because I know what it's like to be on stage. Now I wanted to know what it was like to be backstage. So then I
Yes.
could, you know, have a full understanding of what it's like to run a production and sort of do my own thing later on in life. I don't know when that will be, but like maybe one day. Yeah.
And so when you create something, what's the feeling driving it?
I like the feeling of completing something, which is ironic because I never do. So I'm still chasing that. I think that's what's driving me, really. It's like, oh, I'm waiting to feel that moment of completion, but I still haven't gotten there yet. I can't be bothered. So, yeah.
Wow.
But I do like the moments and where sometimes I'm like playing my guitar or making something, and then I'm like, oh, I'm enjoying this and I'm not thinking about how much I suck at it right now. Okay,
That's
fun.
nice.
That's nice. Yeah, exactly. Exactly like that.
And how do ideas come to you?
There's just so many ideas in my head constantly all the time, but they're all so jumbled up that it's hard for me to extract, and I feel like that's also part of why I find it very, very difficult to finish things, because it's like I have an idea for something and then I'm like, oh wait, I have an idea for something else, and then I go back and forth. But where the ideas come from a lot of the time, personal experiences, or like dreams that I wish I have, or just sort of like, I don't know. I like storytelling, but I like sharing stuff that not a lot of people have heard before. And I feel like as an Indonesian person, well, half Indonesian person, that's something I can bring. Because it's like not a lot of people know about Indonesia. Not a lot of people know about Indonesian music, Indonesian art, Indonesian culture. And I find that in a lot of my work, I do incorporate it. So that's fun.
And do you prefer to create something on your own or do you like to have people around? Or
I definitely with music, in terms of me making my own stuff, I like doing it on my own because I also struggle to share it with people. Like I still struggle to share it with my partner, like with Mo, a lot of the stuff that I do or a lot of the stuff that I make because I get very nervous about it not being good or feeling too generic. Like this just sounds like, something everybody else can make.
oh,
That's like the thing that I have in me because I have this idea that I really want to be different because I've always been different. I feel like I have to, and that makes me sound so edgy, like, oh, I'm different. Like, no, that's not what I mean. It's more so that the thing of I want to show people something that they haven't seen before, like incorporating my culture into it. And I'm scared that a lot of the time what I think sounds good doesn't actually sound good, or what I think looks good doesn't actually look good. So for an example, there was a part of my performance class that I had to do last year for my master's was make your own solo piece. So what I did in it, because I have experience in Indonesian shadow puppets,
okay.
and I really like the idea of using shadows and stuff, but I also have my video skills from my undergrad, creating projection content for theater. So I put those two together and I did a performance where I created like animations and then I projected it on the screen, and then behind the screen you could see my shadow interacting with the animations I made.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Which at first I thought I was really like scared it was gonna be really bad or like no one was gonna understand it. But then when people watched it, they're like, oh, that was actually really beautiful. And I was like, oh, okay. So that is nice. So it's the idea of bringing something new. That's what, yeah. So I like doing it on my own because I feel like no one else can understand it if they try to help me with it. I'm stubborn.
Oh, so do you feel like they could mess it up in a way or make it not yours anymore?
Not
or...
mess it up, but make me doubt myself.
Oh. Okay.
Which doesn't help because I always doubt myself. So it's like I don't need anyone else telling me that it's...
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not that... I can take bad criticism. I can. Negative criticism. But
you know that you're going to almost use it against yourself even more.
exactly.
And that is going to create a whole...
I wouldn't mind bad criticism after I finished something, but when I'm during making something, if I'm working with someone else, that I really can't handle. It's like I just want to finish it first, then we can talk about that. But and I find that a lot of people that I've tried to work with have been like that to me at university. So I'm just like, you know what? I like doing things on my own.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly.
I probably the same. Oh, wow. That's interesting. And when is a creation finished? When do you decide to stop?
I'm still figuring that one out myself. I don't know. Yeah, I genuinely don't know. It's that thing again of I don't feel like an artist enough to be able to have a finished piece and be like, here, this is my product. I don't know. Until I feel like I don't have to work on it again, I think. Or until I feel like I'm happy with how something sounds or how something looks. And I'm not second guessing or questioning it. And if I put it away for a bit and then forget about it, knowing with that feeling, it's like, okay, I think that's finished now.
Okay.
Yeah, if I listen to it again in a couple months and be like, that's okay. But that's the thing, I haven't really made anything long or much enough to be able to feel like that yet. So that's why I don't know.
Do you work fast?
In bursts.
Okay.
It's like I have some bursts of energy and I'll work on something really like intensely for about 2 weeks and then I stop. And then I come back to it and do it again and then I stop.
And is there something you created that you are really proud of?
Yeah. Actually, this year, my best friend and I, we decided, well, for her master's, she wanted to complete a project like an audio podcast, like a storytelling podcast type thing, called Audioverse. And we want basically the idea is storytelling through spatial audio, which is instead of having your usual left and right pan, it would be like in 3D audio. So all the dimensions all around you. So yeah, the idea was to layer soundscapes so it could feel like things were on top of you, things were behind you, all over, so you were fully immersed in a fully immersive audio. And doing that with stories from all over the world. And because she's Indian and I'm Indonesian, we share a lot of legends and stories in our cultures. So we picked on one that we both know quite well. I also have the main girl from it tattooed on my...
Oh yeah, we need to take a picture of that. And
Yeah, this is also a shadow puppet. So what I was saying before about the Indonesian shadow puppets, this is what they sort of look like.
Oh wow.
And that's the stuff that I used to do. But yes, this audio project, she asked me to help her with it and put it together and edit it. So I did that, and it's half an hour long. It has seven scenes. It takes you through the story of the Ramayana, and I'm really proud of how it was. She voice acted in it, and then I put it all together. It was really, really fun. So that's good. That's an example of something actually that I'm proud of that I didn't work on by myself.
Oh yes, that's true.
And I think it's because I didn't work on it by myself. But
it's almost like it gives you the right to like it, because it's not only you.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also because throughout that, we worked on it together quite well, but a lot of it still I put together. She just gave me the bits, and then I was the one who created it really and put it together. Of course, she told me then notes of what to change because it's how she wants it to sound. But again, the whole way that it was built was how I interpreted it. So I worked alone for a lot of that time on it. I was doing it at work at Wilton's during my downtime, and that I really, really enjoyed doing. Like I'm very proud of that.
Wow. And what type of artwork interests you?
Like just in general?
Yeah. What are you drawn to?
Music and dance, I think.
And is there something that you don't like?
In those, or just in general? About art in general?
Can be in those and... Because there are so many types of music and of dance.
Yeah. I think... Oh, I don't know. I feel like I appreciate quite a lot of music all around. I listen to everything. Like literally, if you look at my Spotify, it's a mix of the most random genres of music. I can't decide on one. Oh, that's a hard question. I think maybe what I don't like, and this is not a reflection of art itself, but there's some really sophisticated visual art paintings and stuff like that I wish I could understand more.
Okay.
But that's also because I'm not a very visual art kind of person. I'm more performative art. So that's something that I don't like, is the fact that I wish I could delve into that sort of art more. I don't really understand a lot of visual art, which I do need to work on, considering my partner is literally a visual artist. But
they heard us.
I love you. But that's something I wish I could do, because I feel like, you know the saying, jack of all trades, master of nothing?
No, yeah.
So like you're good at like you dabble in everything, but you're not really a master in something. That's how I feel. And I'm fine with that, and that's how I like doing little bits of everything. But then if there's something I don't know, I just don't like it.
Frustrating.
It's frustrating, exactly. And that's how I feel with visual art a lot of the time.
Well,
That's not hating on art at all. That's just, God, I wish. Like, it's jealous, you know? It's like, oh, I wish I could do that.
And what do you feel is your strength as a human being?
I want to say helping people. And I think that's what I end up doing a lot of the time when I'm collaborating or making art or anything sort of creative. I'm always helping people. And I think that, again, I'm a technician. That is my job to help, you know, the performers. And that's why I don't mind being a technician at a place like Wilton's, because I feel like I'm helping people and I'm helping sort of, you know, helping people do what they want to do in this space, helping people see what their visions and stuff like that. That's why I like being in a band, because I feel like I'm helping the other people in the band come together. Or I've worked a lot with kids. I liked helping kids and teaching them music because I feel like I'm helping them, you know, grow and helping them like find another coping mechanism. And again, that thing with like arts and mental health, that kind of thing. I think, yeah, that would be my strength. Or I guess maybe I'm not good at helping people, but that drive in me to help people, I think, is the strongest.
Yeah, it's very genuine as well.
Yeah, and I hate it when I can't help people.
Do you?
Yeah. Because a lot of the time I'm anxious, and that's the other thing. I'm anxious, and then when I'm anxious, I freeze, and it's like, okay, well, I can't help people if I'm anxious and I'm freezing. I'm frozen. But yeah, I think that is I would say my strongest.
And what would you like to be better at?
Feeling like I'm good at what I do. I think that would be nice.
That'd be very freeing.
It would be very freeing because then I wouldn't always have doubts about doing the stuff that I do and then never finishing anything and not ever feeling that, yay, I'm finished feeling. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Is there anything that scares you?
Failure. Failure. I did quite well in school. So, and a lot of the time that the thing that drove me in that was failure.
Oh.
I didn't want to fail. I didn't want to disappoint my parents. I didn't want to feel like a failure to my family.
So it's not like you wanted to be good, it's that you didn't want to fail.
Yeah.
Oh. And do you have still that now?
Yeah, because I'm trans. So I feel like, wow, I did well in school, but I still failed them in that department.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And do you have that also at your job?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I feel like I'm not as good as I think I am. That's why I'm really scared. I'm anxious. I've got an interview tomorrow for renewing the job. I'm very anxious about that. Because I feel like my undergrad university degree, because of the thing I told you earlier, where I wasn't given a lot of opportunities to really grow and learn, I feel like they failed me, but I also failed myself. I feel like I could have done more and pushed
and
as
maybe
much as I
asked
could.
for more.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was so done with that place. I just wanted to leave and get out, you know? So I didn't really care. So I feel like I failed myself there. And so I don't feel like I'm a competent enough technician to actually do the job that I should be doing. And sometimes at work, I'll make silly little mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, but like stupid little mistakes that are so obviously like, duh, Shane, that's how you do it.
That's being a human being. I mean,
I know, that is being a human being. But it's, again, that thing of feeling like a failure all the time.
Wow.
And that's why I like to help people, I think. I don't want anyone to feel like they're a failure.
Wow.
Wow. That's deep.
And what's your strongest desire in life?
Strongest desire in life? I want to feel content all the time. I want to feel content with like what I'm doing, how I'm living, what I'm making, that kind of thing. And not being so anxious about everything all the time. Not being driven to go to work, not because I actually want to go to work, because I need the money to live.
Yeah.
Or like little things like getting bored really, really easily. Like, I just want to be content. I just need to stop and chill really badly.
And do you still want to be approved, and by who?
Probably like my family. Which is interesting because, again, my family are really proud of me in terms of what I'm doing, in terms of like, yeah, I'm not doing any much active art and creativity and that sort of stuff now, but the job that I'm doing and still being involved in that. Like, my parents are proud of me of that. But I still need to feel approval for everything else that I stand for as a human being. And that can be quite hard a lot of the time. Or just, yeah, I need to stop people pleasing, essentially. But to let go of that, I feel like I need full approval, and then I can be like, okay, if I can get their approval, like nothing else really like matters, if that makes sense.
So other people you're kind of fine with if they don't like you, or...
Yeah, I used to move around a lot as a kid, and I figured that in my life I would move around a lot. So if people didn't like me, well, just wait a couple years, I'll be out. I'll be gone anyway. Like, I can't. Yeah, I don't really settle in one place for that long. Whereas my parents are always going to be there. So.
Oh, wow. And is there anyone who inspires you very much?
Two people inspire me very much. My partner and my sister.
Oh.
Well, both my sisters, actually. My older and my younger sister. My partner, because they're always constantly doing art, like they are literally right now in the corner of the room. Always just has like ideas, constantly doing things like, I don't know, just a lot. They're always full of ideas and always working on something or thinking about working on something. Which I wish I was like that, or I wish I had the proactivity to just do that more. And then with my sister, my older sister, she had a really bad relationship with my mom and has basically has not wasted her adult years, but like her 20s, sorry, but like had a really tough time in her 20s. But now, and she's in her 30s, and she's picked herself back up and is now running a very successful business, doing like beauty stuff, like my mom did. So like eyelashes, nails, eyebrows, facial, like BB glow skin type things. I don't know what they're called.
Is that something very present there, like makeup? Oh.
Yeah, very, very much so in the culture there.
I didn't know that.
So very, very proud of her for sort of just being able to just build herself back up like that. Like, just, she was very, very like low key about it. Like, none of us really knew. She was very, very quiet about it, maybe because she didn't want other people to sort of
put pressure or
get involved and stuff like that. And so now she's just doing very well, and it's like, wow, well done. And then my younger sister, because she just takes no shit from people.
Oh, we love these people.
And it's like, she's 5 years younger than me. How is she more bold than me? She hasn't lived on Earth. This, like, how? Like, and I find that very, like...
Oh.
Yeah. You know, inspiring. Is not very much not afraid to be herself. Which is nice.
And is there anyone or group of people who annoy you?
That what?
Like, you're annoyed by them.
Oh, people that annoy me. Besides myself?
Always back to this.
Yeah, that's people that annoy me. Certain people at work.
Oh. Gossip moment.
But that's not like, Maybe not the people, but what people do.
Oh.
I don't get annoyed at people, actually. I very much get annoyed at what people do, but I'm really bad at holding grudges against people.
Okay.
Like any of my exes, I'm still like friends with a lot of them.
Oh.
Because like I can't have bad blood with people. That makes me very anxious.
Uh-huh.
So I get annoyed at what people do.
Like
Yeah.
what kind of stuff they would do that you can be annoyed at?
Not listening.
Oh, yeah.
That annoys me. Not listening, being rude, being very, very, very rude. That is one thing I do not like, is when people are very rude. And because I deal with a lot of that at work, I deal with a lot of that at home. Just
Be nice.
be nice. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. Just, you're wasting everyone's time and energy and like, just don't be rude. Yeah, because I can tolerate a lot from people. I can tolerate, you know, weird behaviors, or if, you know, but if people are rude, I can't deal with that. People that are rude because of weird biases, like people are racist or people are this or that, like I hate that.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what annoys me.
And if you were an animal,
Mm.
what would you be?
Well, I get told this a lot, but I'd probably be a bear.
Oh, nice.
I don't know what kind of bear though. Sometimes I feel like a panda bear, but sometimes I also feel like a sun bear, which are the bears that are native to where I'm from. They just look like humans in bear costumes. They're really weird. They're really
We need
weird.
to show a picture.
Oh wait, do I have my? Where's my phone?
But I think I've seen it.
Oh yeah, it's just they
I
just
will.
look
I will
really
find a way
weird.
to post it somewhere.
Sun bears.
When I promote this episode, this is going to be the picture.
Here's a picture of a sun bear. Yeah. I love eating salmon like brown bears do.
Oh, I love salmon.
I love fish. I love just sitting in bodies of water. I love
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I used to swim.
Oh, even in cold water?
I've never had to swim in cold water.
Oh, UK.
Well, I haven't swum in the UK.
Oh.
Besides in like a hot tub once, but that doesn't count. I'm not swimming. I'm just sitting there in a hot tub, so it's like not even cold. I've never been swimming in the UK, but I used to swim competitively growing up.
Oh, wow. Okay. You did a lot of competition in very different domains, right?
Yeah. If you want me to list them, I can, but I don't know. I don't know if you want to know that or like.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I did a lot of competitions growing up.
And what's your favorite color?
Green.
Oh.
Like dark forest green. Like, it reminds me of home. So I like green.
Missing it a bit in London, right?
London is surprisingly
Parks.
okay, you know, like it
Yeah.
has good parks, but yeah, it's a different kind of green and a different kind of smell. Like I'm used to more like tropical jungle type
Yeah.
green, not cold woodlands, foresty.
November.
Yeah, what is this?
Let's die.
I know. Oh, it's freezing, man.
And what makes you happy?
What makes me happy?
Can be something very simple. Or complicated, you choose.
Well, I always overcomplicate things anyway now. I could... what makes me happy? Again, helping people. Being around the people that I know love me and I know that I love. And just, yeah, being supported by people that I surround myself with. That makes me happy. Because then I feel like I can be myself. And I don't feel like I have to mask or anything.
Do you often feel like you have to mask? And
Sometimes. But I'm lucky at Wilton's. I don't really... Everyone sort of know. Like, that's what I mean. That's why I love working at Wilton's. Because it's like... Everyone is not afraid to just be who they are.
themselves.
Literally yesterday, me, Maya, and Sam were laying down on the box office floor. Like,
That was a nice moment.
yeah.
When I came in, I was like, yes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just like people allow each other to be unapologetically themselves.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that.
Such a relief, right?
Yeah, it's so. Yeah, I'm sure you can understand as well in previous like workplaces. There's just certain places that you just cannot be yourself. You have to mask, and it can get very, very tiring, very, very isolating. And in a place when you're working and spending most of your time there,
if you're not yourself, like it's
hard.
Yes.
You know, you don't want to go to work. Yeah, I don't know if that's how you feel at
That's
Waltons
really
as
how I
well.
feel. Like I feel like I finally could make friends also who even I can show my weird self and I can be really weird.
And people be weird with you.
Yes, and they're just like, yes, come on, let's do this. And I'm
just
like,
be weird.
That's so amazing. I mean, it's kind of going back to also be like a kid, like when you're like 8 and people don't care and it's a playground, so you can just do whatever.
But still do the jobs when we need to.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Of course. Yeah.
Direction is listening. We are working very hard.
We are working hard, by the way. But everyone's weird. Even people, like, everyone's weird, you know? It's so nice. It's such a relief, a breath of fresh air, because we're a venue that's quite hard to find in London. It's like we are a hidden little spot for many reasons, not just this hidden, beautiful music hall. We are just... Like there is, if you go on Google reviews or something like that, someone has reviewed Wilton saying odd stuff.
Oh yes, I've heard about that. And also like I looked on Google Map and the review is really good. I mean, I think people like it's beautiful. It's like
beautiful venue. People love hanging out there. So yeah, no, that's for sure.
Come. That's an advertising moment.
Of course, come to Wilton's.
Maybe I should be paid by Wilton's to do this podcast because I'm just interviewing everyone and we promote the place.
Well, has everyone else also been promoting it?
Well, not as much as here. Well, this is the promoting episode.
This is the promo, by the way. Maybe it's because I actually, I'm a technician, so come see the shows that I work on.
Well, do you feel like you know yourself very well?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I know myself very well in terms of my emotions and in here I do. But outside, sometimes not really. Sometimes I look at myself and I'm like, is that me?
Oh, looking in the mirror.
Yeah. Who is that?
Wow.
Who are you? Especially because I changed my look a lot. I've had 5 different hairstyles this year. So that doesn't help.
Trying all the colors.
All the colors. I shaved my head, everything, you know.
And why do you know why you're changing that often? Is that...
I get bored very, very easily.
Okay.
Yeah. It's that thing of if I can't change where I'm living, what I'm doing, all that, I need to change something. And I like changing, different parts of my hair. Also, it's weirdly how I keep track of time. It's like, oh, that happened in this year. Yeah. What? Oh yeah, I had that hair that time.
Oh wow,
it's weird.
That is so clever, though. I think we should all do this, right?
For example, earlier this year I was blonde, and then I dyed my hair gray. And gray, I was between February to April, and then at the end of April, May, I dyed it green, blue, and then after that in July, August, I shaved my head. It's just weird. I've just laid out my timeline based on what hair I've had.
Oh, wow. Keeping track of time.
Yeah. Have to. You have to. Times are changing, man.
And if you could meet your 15 years old self and say something,
oh, God.
Would you say something, and what?
Yeah. I'd probably say chill. Just chill. It's gonna be okay. Just chill. That applies to all aspects in life, whether it's a thing of being in school, and school was really stressful when I was 15, because 15 is when I was moving around a lot. So I would have just been chill, everything's gonna be fine. Because it did end up being fine. Everything was hard, but pulled through.
Still alive.
And just be patient. Be patient. I think for sure. Because it's not as when you're a kid and you're 15 and you're so close to being an adult, you're not so close, but like you're getting closer to being an adult. You're like, oh, once I'm 18, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And it's like, no, you need to chill. Don't do all of that just yet. Be smart about it. Live your life, but just chill. That's what I would say.
And how do you see yourself when you're 55?
I hope to have a beard.
Oh.
I'd love to have a beard.
Like a
beard or a
proper...
stash, yeah. If I could, yeah, 55. I don't know what I'd be doing.
But with a beard.
But with a beard.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. That's it. I'm open to anything that would be happening in my life when I'm 55, as long as I have a beard.
That's a goal.
Yeah, that's my goal. Simple. I'm a simple guy sometimes.
And how do you learn and grow?
By doing. Well, you learn and grow by making mistakes and, learning from them, right? And by doing things. But in terms of like actually like learning things, I'm very much hands-on. I need to do it myself to learn, to understand. And I don't know. I don't really actively think about growing, but I don't know if anybody actually does actively think like, oh, I'm growing.
I mean, there is a bit of a trend these days of like, these books and
self-help.
Yeah.
That's true. I guess the way that I can identify that I'm growing is if I think like, what would I have done if I was in this situation a year ago or 2 years ago? And I do a lot of reflection. So sort of like, what would 20-year-old me do? And if it's different to what I would be doing now, then I'd be like, that's growth. Or like, if certain things happen, like if a customer was annoyed at me at work, how I would handle it now would be different to how I would handle it a year ago. That's growth. Yeah, it's very hard for me to feel like I'm growing unless I look at things retrospectively. But I think that's how everybody deals with growth anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But learning, hands-on.
And do you have any coming projects for the future? Anything that you want to do?
Yeah, I want to continue on the path of going into music therapy. So I want to hopefully start getting all the proper qualifications for that, and then hopefully be able to practice music therapy at some point. That's what I really want to do.
Do you want to describe it quickly, music therapy? How?
Yeah, so music therapy there's lots of different forms, but it's either you play music to help patients calm down, or like mood regulations. So there's that side of music therapy.
Okay.
There's also music therapy in the sense where you can work with people to make your own music, and that in itself as a therapeutic sort of...
Yeah, I thought it was only this. I didn't know that you could also just play for the patient.
You could. And then there's also other forms where you sort of like, you talk about music. Oh. You come together and you talk about music, and you talk about sort of how do you feel when you're listening to this? Why do you think you feel it? And then sort of, analyzing and going into sort of like therapy talk about music. Does that make sense?
That's incredible, because now I realize that, of course you can listen to songs and you have a lot of emotions, and it can like
help you sort of be like, oh, that's why I feel that kind of thing. Yeah. So again, I want to work on going towards helping people with my craft in some way.
Yeah, you are doing so many things, actually.
Yeah, I need to chill. I need to chill. Yeah, 15-year-old me, 23-year-old me still needs to chill.
Same.
So don't worry.
Chill out. And do you have any recommendation of, I don't know, a book or a movie or an artist that you discovered recently and that you're like, oh my God, the world needs to know?
Oh. People don't really listen to a lot of, or at least the people that I surround myself with, don't really listen to a lot of instrumental music. And I think instrumental music, like besides like lo-fi stuff that people listen to when they're like, studying and stuff like that, that's very like common. But I'm talking specifically like quite good instrumental music, sort of more rock or like a mesh of different like genres. There's a band that I've recently discovered called Polyphia. And they have really awesome instrumental music, I think. The guitarists, they work together and they use a lot of genres, they blend and mesh together, and it's very pleasing to the ears, I think.
Wow.
And it can incite a lot of emotions and feelings that you don't sort of realize. And I think because I struggle a lot with lyric writing, I try to then see if I can incite emotions through the music itself.
Okay.
Because I'm not really good at writing lyrics. I can write poems and I can write music, but I can't put them together. I don't know why.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. It's because I feel like every time I write lyrics, I'm like, oh, that's cringe. You know, I don't know. I need to get over that. So a lot of the music I make is very instrumental based. So I've been listening to a lot more instrumental music because it's sort of like, again, that therapy thing of if you put in headphones and listen to an instrumental track, fully concentrate on it, and it goes through a lot of different like changes in terms of like the music itself. By the end of it, you'll feel something, whatever that feeling is.
But I feel like you'll feel a bit different than how you felt before. Because it kind of, there's a movement that's happening.
Exactly, that sort of movement.
Yeah.
Which I feel like dancers listen to a lot of instrumental music. Is that?
I think so, yes. I think it's because also there's a bit less information than with the lyrics. And so you can kind of let go a bit more and just really explore. Yes, I do really like actually instrumental music. Yeah. I think it gives a bit more space.
Yeah, maybe. For sure.
Yeah. Well, do you want to direct people who are listening to, I don't know, your Instagram or like what? I don't know if you have a YouTube channel.
I have one from when I was 13, but we're not gonna.
No?
No, not that one. If you find it,
sure,
good for you. But just know that I was going by a different name and I looked a little bit different. So you might not recognize that it's me, or you might.
So they will never find it.
So they will never find it. So that's fine. Have fun finding that. But you can follow my main Instagram and so I have an Instagram account where I put like singing videos, but again, I haven't put anything on there in like 3 years.
Yes, you need to put more.
I do need to put more.
We need to listen more.
I will to upload more. I'll see what I can do.
Thank you.
So that one is Shenanigans. So Shane with double A, Nanigans.
I will put it also in the notes.
And then the other one is Shane Stewart, which is just my main. Because a lot of the time, I sometimes, when I'm bored every now and then, I will put a video like of me singing up, but on my main Instagram and not on the other one. I don't know why. I just don't really use the other one that much. So I need to start using it more, for sure. But that one I wanted to put more of like just general stuff that I do. So like shows I work on at Wilton's or like just any sort of random projects that I do.
Nice. So it's more like
when I get the motivation.
Putting stuff together.
Yeah, exactly.
Also.
Like a portfolio almost.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much.
No worries. I'm so sorry if I kept rambling on about random stuff.
You don't.
Okay, are you sure?
That was great. Yeah, that was perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
No problem. It was so lovely to talk to you.